we're going to see, based on some of Capello's interviews, we're finally going to see Joe Cole in that last game, starting on the left side. And
well, if Capello doesn't want to be tarred and feathered, he's going to have to do something. But, there's a very, very good chance here England does not go through at this point.
Yeah.
I question, where's Wayne Rooney? Well, he hasn't scored an international goal in over 6 months.
Yeah.
Where is he? He has to come through.
Yeah, is it partly maybe the formation? I mean, would a different formation make a difference? I mean, Rooney is used to at Manchester United, I think, playing more in a sort of a 4-5, modified 4-5-1 formation. And England certainly has the personnel to pull something like that off. You could play Lampard and Gerrard right behind Rooney and put Lennon and Cole on the wings and have Barry behind Gerrard and Lampard. But we've seen nothing like that so far. I mean, he seems to insist on playing another forward, another striker up there with Rooney.
Yeah, well, maybe you should get on Capello's Facebook page and suggest that. Because, I don't know what moves this man. But, it's really been interesting to watch. Look, if anyone doubts, the dangers of having to break down a team that packs everyone behind the ball and is a dangerous counterattack, just look at the Brazil-North Korea match.
Yeah.
I mean, North Korea got a beautiful goal. That match ended 2-1. And I'm not saying that Brazil didn't have vast quantities of possession and are, a million times better than North Korea. But, anything can happen in football.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a start.
You don't want to be going into this last game in a must-win situation. That's where England find themselves right now. And you have to wonder, is the Heskey-Rooney combination the one that's going to work? Well, or do you go right back and do you put out the Spurs connection and let Crouch and Defoe go for it?
Maybe Capello's stuck back in 2002 with Heskey. Who knows?
Well, and listen, I happen to like Ivanhoe. I think he's fantastic at doing certain things. He's great at holding the ball up. He's great at creating space. He's sort of an old school guy. He's great at getting the ball and dishing it. But, at this point, we need someone to put that ball in the back of the net. And it's happened once for England, and that was Stevie G in the 4th minute. And other than that, it's been one of the world's greatest snooze fests.
Yeah. Well, Lawless, not always a big favorite around some parts. Alexi on Fox, not on Fox, on the ESPN broadcast said, hey, really, maybe England's just not that good. Maybe, outside of some great individual players like Terry and, of course, Rooney and Gerrard and maybe when you look at Lennon, maybe Lennon's really not as good as we think he is. Maybe, some of the back four of England, they're really not that good. Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe this team isn't really that good.
Yeah, maybe Alexi Lawless is right.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that, as much as people have issues with Alexi, I actually don't. And I think that's a very good statement he made. I think you really have to think about it. How good are some of these players outside of the ones that are world class? Mm-hmm. Are the rest? I would be tempted to say no.
Yeah, I mean, because we looked at the U.S.-England game at the beginning, and there were a lot of English press laughing about the U.S. team. But then when I looked at it and I said, okay, on one wing we've got Lennon versus Donovan, and on the other wing, Milner versus Donovan, and in the other wing we have Lennon versus Dempsey. I mean, is there a big, huge advantage for England in that setup? And we know about the goalkeeping, so we don't have to get into that. To me, the big pluses for England in that match were the midfield, Gerrard and Lampard, and then, of course, Rooney. But, outside of that triumvirate and maybe Terry in the back all by himself, because the other guys haven't looked that great, certainly not Carragher. I mean,
no, and I love Jamie Carragher. I'm a Liverpool fan, and he's done great service over the years. This is a man that had to be begged to come out of a 3-year international retirement. Right. I mean, they need to make room for him to come out with his rascal scooter. He's so old at this point. He's doing great service, but he doesn't have speed, and when you're up against speedy forwards, you're going to get shown up, and at that point you can use your KG wisdom and your positioning. And or at other points you're going to have to foul, and I think you saw that with Carragher, and he's going to be suspended from the last game because of yellow cards, and that's just it, and that's going to put more pressure on England. Listen, I think there's a very, very good chance England doesn't get out of the group.
Wow, yeah, and
the U.S. will. I think the U.S. I was telling someone today. and of course I tell people, I don't listen, for those people that know me. The U.S., England is a 100 horsepower engine that operates at best at 40 horsepower. The U.S. is a 60 horsepower engine that operates at 55 horsepower. Right. Which one would you rather have?
Exactly. Well,
I mean, it really boggles the mind how such incredible, how players of that pedigree and caliber can come up with such a flat performance. Look, my pick for this whole thing's Argentina. It has been since before. It is now, still is, and always will be. I think the Argies are going to get this done. I think that's a team with self-belief, with something to prove, incredible talent, but most importantly, a fire in their bellies. And someone needs to light that fire in England and do it quick.
Yeah. Well, they've got one game to do it, and the good news for them is they win that game and they're in, and that's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, that's it. Win it, and you win it or go home. And I think they're going to be going home because I think that game's going to be a draw.